The event description, again, students, teams need to be knowledgeable about the basic concepts of stellar evolution, especially the stellar evolution processes that lead to Type 1a supernova events. The rules are in the event description in the rules manual, and event supervisors can get that from either the state director or from the tournament director. The year 2017 should be at the bottom next to the page number. Make sure that you have the 2017 rules. Read the event parameters, glance at them so that you know exactly what resources students are allowed to bring to competition, and then read the event description for the current content and the list of the deep sky objects. And you have to construct the event based upon the content and the deep sky objects that are in the event description. It's really important that you do that. The students that are taking your event that you are going to develop and run, some of those, whether you're at the regional level or the state level, some of those teams are going to be moving on possibly to national competition. So they need to be prepared for national competition. And they are expecting to see the content in the event that they are competing in to fit the parameters and the content that are listed in that event description, because that is what they have spent all their time studying for. If you need any clarification in that rules manual, there is a clarification menu on the National Science Olympiad website. Ask your questions there. They will be posted. If you might have a question that's already been asked and answered, so the question and the answer will be posted there. You might have a new one, and that will be posted. And then other people having that same question will already have it answered once they've gone there. We individually, event supervisors, are not allowed to answer any questions about the event because we might give a different answer to one person than another person, and we want to ensure that everybody has the exact same content. So once you ask your question on the National Science Olympiad website, they will ask us for our answer. We'll give them the answer, and then one single answer is posted for everybody. We do rotate the specific focus of stellar evolution every year. So last year, the last 2 years in a row, it was exoplanets. We did that one for 2 years in a row because it was different than anything we've done before, and a lot of the information was actually unique to exoplanets. There was more on exoplanets than there was on the actual processes of stellar evolution, so we decided they needed 2 years. This year, this might be the only year for Type 1a supernovas. We might do a different type of supernova on next year's competition for 2018, I do not know. However, at least 60% of the content in this year's event will be identical to the content in next year's event because the major focus is on stellar evolution. Now, these are usually a pencil and paper test. People have tried other ways of presenting this event, not always really successfully. Paper and pencil seems to be best. However, there are a lot of charts and graphs, sky charts, graphs, HR diagrams, image sets. There's a lot of papers that the students need to spread out and be able to access easily and efficiently to work with. So it is better to have a setup in the room that accommodates that. Small little chairs with one little arm that comes up, and you just can't work that way. We've had rooms before at nationals that ended up being that way, and people have ended up sitting on the floor and spreading out that way. So please ensure that the students at least have a comfortable amount of space to work, because they're already under enough stress just being in a competition. So you need a room with tables. A lecture room with large tables works really well. The teams have to be able to spread out all of their materials. Astronomy teams are bringing laptops, iPads, 3-ring binders, so there's even more stuff to spread out as well as the event. So since those are electronic devices, it's the ultimate, of course, is to have a room that has outlets so students can plug in their devices. If you do have a setup that does not have electrical outlets, you should let the teams know that so that they can be sure that they have their laptops and mobile devices on full charge before the competition, because nobody wants a team to run out of power and not be able to complete the competition because of a simple little logistical piece like that. So make sure that they know what the circumstances are going to be so they can prepare for it. You need helpers. You need at least 2 or 3 helpers. You need to, number one, keep track of time. The teams, if you have an event where it's large enough that you have enough teams that more than so many teams are competing, that you have different sections, and you have to have the exact same sequence of events for every single section. If section 1, you're late getting started, and they only have 45 minutes instead of 50 minutes, and the next group of teams that comes in gets 50 minutes, that's not fair because they've had 5 more minutes to take the event and come up with answers and fill in responses than the other team did. So you need helpers so that you can get everybody checked in. Remember, it's a 1-hour event. You can only plan on about 50 minutes because it's going to take about 5 minutes to get started, about 5 minutes to pick up, and then they're out the door. So you have to have people who are checking the armbands, wristbands, whatever identification the teams have to show that they are part of the competition officially as they come in. And you need to keep track of the time so you can keep letting the teams know how many minutes are left in the competition, handing out materials, gathering materials at the end. If during the competition a team has a question, you need to get to that person as fast as possible and answer their question so that they can move along. So helpers are really essential. Make sure that all equipment is working and functional and there, especially if you are using, some people do use PowerPoint presentations anymore advanced where every team is doing the same thing and they walk them through in a PowerPoint scenario. So you just have to make sure that everything is working properly, which means you need to be in your room because you might be in a venue that you're not familiar with. This, of course, happens at the national level every year as we move from site to site, and we have rooms that we've never seen before. We don't know the logistics. We don't know the passwords, what you do to access the internet. It's different everywhere. So you have to be there in time to make sure that everything is up and running and functional and ready to go as soon as that first team hits the door.